Hi friends, my name is James Hardy. I'm going to be leading you through a power flow yoga class today. This will be a 60-minute class. You don't need any props. If you have a yoga block, I always love practicing with a yoga block, but other than that, just your mat and a water bottle and you will be just fine. We're going to start our class out today in a cross-legged position. So as you're ready, just bring yourself to a cross-legged position and find the front edge of your sit bones so you can pull the flesh away or just walk yourself back a little bit. As you get nestled to the front edge of your sit bones, bring your hands down on top of your knees, on your thighs, and we'll just begin some shoulder shrugs. So on your inhales, just lift your shoulders high up towards your ears, lengthen your spine, and on your exhale, just roll your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. And we'll do that a couple times. Inhale, lift the shoulder heads up high, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, roll them down. Nice, one more time. Inhale, bring the spine up tall, lift your shoulder heads high in space. And exhale, release the shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. At this point, just relax your hands where it feels comfortable. Close through your eyes. And we'll take a warm-up breath called Dirga Swasana Pranayama. It's a 3-part breath exercise. Begin by releasing your air all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly and low back. Pause there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Pause there. Fill all the way up to the chest and shoulders. Hold your full breath. Relax around it. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's move to Ujjayi breathing. So a smooth, deep inhale through the nose, engaging the muscles in the back of the throat, filling all the way up to a comfortable full point. And on your exhale, releasing the air back out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror all the way down to empty. So Ujjayi breath, you're just doing this diaphragm breathing in and out through your nose by way of the back of the throat. And on the inhales, it's the muscles you use if you're sipping the air or if you're taking a gasp of air. And on the exhales, it's the muscles you would use to fog up a mirror. And then we let our focus on our breath bring us into the present moment, bring us into the present experience. What's happening right here and now with your body. And the activity, the flow of the mind will always continue to do its thing, but we are giving the mind just this simple job, this simple task of remembering to inhale and remembering to exhale. So let your breath be your guide for your practice, and then simply take what works for me and leave the rest behind. Blink the eyes open to a soft gaze up front. And on an inhale, just sweep your arms out wide, stretch up tall. With your exhale, we'll twist over to the right. So bringing your right hand behind you, left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Inhale to lengthen your spine up. You can start to gaze over to the right. And as you exhale, twist from center and take the gaze all the way back across your shoulder. Hold your body inside of the twist and use your breathing. When your exhales roll through, your body will find just a little bit more space to release down. And let's find one more round of breath on it. Using that exhale to get all the way down to empty. And then on the inhale, we'll face forward, lengthen the arms out wide, reach tall. And on your exhale, just switch your sides out. So now bring your left hand behind you. Take the right hand to the top outside of that left knee or thigh. Inhale, lengthens your spine up tall. You can start to gaze over to the left. And as you exhale, just twist from center and send the gaze back across your left shoulder. And then you're holding your body inside of the twist, so you're feeling the stretch. And then you're working that diaphragm breath, which just takes up all of your breath capacity. So think about the inhales where your body's going to create space, and the exhales where your body's going to release into that space that you've created. So that's another part of the breath we get to focus on, the way it massages our bodies out inside of these poses. Let's take one more full round of breath, just that deep inhale. And on your exhale, you're going to go all the way down to empty, twist to the deepest point, and then we'll inhale to reach the arms out wide, stretch up tall. And on your exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. Come forward to a tabletop, hands and knees. And first thing we're going to do is stretch out the wrists. So you'll turn the insides of your wrist to face the front of the room. Your thumbs point to the side, your fingers are back. On your exhales, I want you to lean back and peel the hands all the way to your fingers off the mat. And as you exhale, you'll roll back forward as you breathe in, rather. So as you exhale, we're leaning back, peeling the hands off the mat all the way to the fingertips. And on your inhale, you're rolling the hands back forward. We can just do that one more time. And then take the back of your hands down into the ground. You can face your fingers towards one another or point your fingers to the back of the room. You could do the same type of thing where you lean back, peeling to your fingernails, lifting the hands off the mat to your fingernails, and then rolling the hands back forward until they land down into the mat. And just take it to hero's pose, so your sit bones back towards your heels, tops of the feet are to the ground, knees are together, and then just roll out through your wrists for a moment. Excellent. We'll meet up in a plank position. So stepping the toes to the back of the mat, finding your hands right underneath your shoulders. Feel into this shape, lift your hips up on level with the shoulders, let the biceps tone in, unlock the elbows. Breath in at the top. You can also do this on your knees with your ankles crossed. And then exhale to lower halfway down, leading with sternum. We'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift back up to the top. And then again, with your exhale, slowly lower halfway to Chaturanga Dandasana. Holding in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Inhale, lift back up. And then on the exhale, again, lower halfway down into Chaturanga Dandasana. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Transfer the weight to the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. You could also take a low cobra. If you're choosing up dog, tops of the feet are rooted, palms are rooted, and you're suspending the body weight. You're opening through the chest, rolling shoulder heads down away, biceps toned in. And then we can transition this to our downward facing dog, tucking the toes and lifting the hips back and up in space. Release the weight of your head and just slowly walk your downward facing dog out, dropping the weight into one heel as you bend opposite knee, just slowly switching between your legs. Hands are slightly wider than shoulder distance. You're spread out into the palms, into the fingers. Weight of the head is released. Your biceps are toning in like you're holding a beach ball between them, and then the elbows are unlocked. Start to hold the down dog, lifting up the hips, pulling down through your heels, feeling that stretch, lengthen your spine, strength through your body, all the way through your core, and then drawing down through your heels. Nice. Take baby steps on the balls of your feet all the way up into a forward fold at the top of your mat. And then inside of that forward fold, inhale halfway up, push the hands to the legs, bend the knees slightly, parallel the spine to the ground, tone the shoulder blades in, gaze is down, and on the exhale, we'll refold. Nice. Let's take that half lift again. Inhale to push into your legs, parallel your spine, tone your shoulder blades in towards one another, and then exhale, release it down. With your fingertips connected to the floor, and you can bend your knees as much as you need to get them down, give your head a slow nod yes. And give your head a slow side-to-side nod no, letting the weight of the head just release down from the spine. Nice. With the weight in the head, in the arms, vertebrae by vertebrae start to roll up. Head is the last thing to come up. When it does, inhale to reach your arms wide and tall up into mountain. You could arc slightly back. And on the exhale, just draw your hands down into your heart center. Excellent. We'll inhale into Utkatasana chair pose, so dropping your sit bones deep back into a squat. If you practice with your big toes together, you can bring your ankle bones, your knees, and your thighs together. If you're at hip bone distance, we want the knees and the feet both at hip bone distance. Beautiful, friends. Find the strength as you sit down into it, so engage the muscles around your knees. Find those muscles all the way to your glutes, all the way to your core, even back into your shoulder blades, toning towards one another. And then we'll do a vertical twist to the right on your exhale. So you'll lift your heels off the ground and then reach your right hand behind you and your left arm forward. So your arms will be parallel to the floor. It's natural for your left knee to want to swivel forward beyond your right. So line that left knee up in alignment with your right knee so your hips are lined up behind you. Work with your breathing. Don't feel like you need to lean forward out of this. Your chest is right up in space. You got this. Beautiful, friends. And then we're just going to drop the heels and inhale to reach our arms up into a regular chair, back to where we just were. Feel the tone again around the knee joints. Sit bones lowering back in space. Breathe into it. Beautiful. And then we're going to make a transition where we're going to go back into a flying lunge. So you'll breathe into chair. Right foot is your base. On your exhale, just lift your left foot and reach your arms and your left foot back in space. So you find that lunge position. You're on the ball of your left foot. Your left heel is pulling forward in space. Your thighs are toning in to meet one another. Elbows are toning in towards center and lifting up and back in space. And you've got a diagonal line all the way through the back of the neck. Stay with your breathing. Your next inhale is warrior two. Knife edge of the left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forward. You can elongate out through your stance a little bit in space. So we start to bring that right thigh more parallel to the ground. Right knee stops right above the right heel. Right sit bone is tucked underneath the body. The spine is coming up tall and you're pressing strong through both legs. Tone through both of your legs. Arms start to extend out to the front and the back of your mat. And then rather than your shoulder heads caving in, we're letting those shoulder heads release down away from the ears on the back, opening through the chest, feeling those blades slightly behind us. Excellent. Your next exhale, extended side angle pose. So leaning forward, right forearm to your right thigh, or right arm down the inside of the right leg. You could do left arm straight up in space or pull it out on the diagonal from your left leg. Let that left hip remain on level with the right hip. So it's popping up in space, come back into your lunge, and continue to draw that left hip down on level with your right. There's lots of lift going on through this inner right side body right here. Beautiful, friends. Inhale to come back up into your warrior two. And on your exhale, just reverse your warrior, so left hand behind you or to your hip or down your thigh. Right arm's up. We're still deep in that lunge. You can bend your elbow a little bit in space if you want. Gaze could go up, could look over to the side, or back down where your left foot is. Hold the strength of the pose. Stay with the breath. We'll take one more inhale to that reverse warrior. And then when your exhale comes, just cartwheel your hands down to frame the right foot, turn onto the ball of the left foot to a low lunge. Stand up on your right leg, bring your left knee and your arms up, find a one-legged mountain where the left knee is bent at 90, your arms are extended up nice and tall. Let that left thigh bone plug back into your hips as you reach up through your arms. Focus your gaze on something that's not moving and just stay with your breath. From one-legged mountain, we'll move into Dakasana airplane. So on an exhale, you're just swimming your arms and your left leg back in space. Chest is slightly lifting. Shoulders, again, toned in, elbows lifting. Find your breath. And then we'll inhale into a high crescent lunge. So ball the left foot back of your mat. Extend your arms up nice and tall. Let those thighs tone in towards one another. Find the individual strength of the legs. And again, those legs joining, arms extending up. Biceps pulling back to frame your ears. Shoulder heads down away from the ears in the back. Excellent, friends. Your next exhale, just bring the hands down to frame your right foot. We're in our low lunge position. We're going to inhale to three-legged down dog, lifting the right leg up and back. And just hold the leg up on the diagonal. Tone in through the arms. Push back through your heel or the ball of the foot and point the front of your right hip down and back. Your next exhale, shift forward into a three-legged plank position. Just find it right up at the top. Hold that breath, find the shape. And then we'll take our flow. You can go right to down dog if you want, or follow me where we go exhale halfway down to chaturanga. Press to the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then tuck the toes and come back to down dog. You can always replace that up dog with low cobra, so you can kind of customize that flow as you like it. Nice, friends. We're back into down dog. Stay with your breath. And find the engagement around it. Your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step or float back up into your forward fold. Excellent. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through your spine, strengthen around it. On your exhale, refold. And this time we're going to grab a ragdoll frame. So opposite hand grips the outside of opposite elbow or bicep. And then we release the weight of the head. If your feet are not at hip bone distance, bring them to hip bone distance. Just take a little sway side to side at any nod yes or nod no through your head that feels good to you. And if your elbows are not dropping below your knees, just add a little bend into your knees and let those elbows release, and you're going to get a deeper stretch in your spine. And over time, you can build that stretch into the back of the legs. Awesome, friends. So release the hands out of that. You're just in a forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen, strengthen your spine. And then on your exhale, refold, and then reverse swan dive. Inhale, arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, we'll just draw the hands down into your heart center. Excellent. Water break. Grab a sip of water, stay hydrated. You're doing awesome. All right. So we're just at standing, and we're going to take this into chair pose. So when you are ready, just lower your sit bones back in space, draw up through your arms. Again, find those alignment points. So if you're one where you got big toes together, you've got ankle bones, knees and thighs together. Otherwise, you're feeling things right at hip bone distance. And it's kind of like if you've ever seen a skier tuck down a mountain, the sit bones are reaching back in space, but then we lift the chest up and get that strength through it. Beautiful, friends. Your next exhale, vertical twist to the left. So lift your heels, left arm back, reach your right arm forward. And again, right knee will want to swivel forward, but keep that right knee in alignment with your left so your hips are lined up back behind you. Open through your wingspan. Find the strength inside of it. You got this. And then when you're ready, the next inhale brings us back into chair, just lowering the heels and drawing those arms back up in space. Stay with it. From here, as you're ready, we're going to take a flying lunge. So on the next exhale, just reach the ball of the right foot and the right leg back behind you, and the arms extend back in space. And then you have a diagonal line from your right leg all the way through the back of the neck. Elbows are toned in towards center, drawing up and back. Find the strength in your legs. Get down to the end of the breath that you're on and open to warrior two on your inhale. So knife edge of the right foot to the ground, right arm back, left arm forward. Feel free to lengthen the stance out a little bit from the front of the mat to the back, just so you can get a long stance and you can really get into the lunge part of it. That left thigh comes more parallel to the ground. Spine is straight up in space. And then we pierce the gaze out over those front fingertips. In Sanskrit, our drishti, which can mean that physical outward gaze like I'm doing with my eyes across the front fingertips, but drishti can also be deeper than that. It can be an inner gaze that we take through our bodies, we take through our emotions, and we take through our minds, a way that we orient ourselves. Beautiful. Your next exhale, extended side angle pose. So left forearm to left thigh, or left arm down the inside of the leg, right arm reaching up in space or out on that diagonal, and actively finding that lift through your inner side body. Work with your breathing here. Nice inhales, nice exhales. Next, inhale, bring yourself back up into your warrior two. And as you exhale, just reverse your warrior. So right hand behind you to your hip or to your back thigh. Left arm up in space, pressing deep into the lunge. You can add that bend into your elbow if you want. Gaze goes up to the side or back. Your back right shoulder can lower down away from the right ear while you're here. Take one more in-breath, and then on the exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame the left foot, turn onto the ball of the right, and then big move on the inhale to stand up on your left leg to one-legged mountain, bringing the arms and the right knee with you. Right knee bent at 90, thigh bone plugged back into hip, arms extended up. So imagine how you would be in regular mountain with both feet to the ground, and we are doing that just with one leg to the ground. We're taking it on an exhale to Dakasana, airplane. Right leg swims back, arms swim back. Chest can shine up towards the front of the room. Elbows can lift and tone in. Your gaze is forward in space. So if there was a mirror in front of you, you'd be looking at your own body in space. You'd be looking at your throat. There's that kind of a lift going on here. Beautiful. And then from Dakasana, we'll take an inhale to come back into a high crescent lunge. So ball of the right foot lands. This time in our lunge, arms lift up, thighs tone in. Biceps pull back to frame ears, shoulders down away from the ears in the back. Individual strength in your legs, the tone, and then those thighs pulling in towards one another. That back right heel lifting forward. Awesome. On an exhale, just bring the hands down to your low lunge position. And then we'll inhale to reach the left leg up to a three-legged down dog, pressing back through heel or the ball of the foot. Find that diagonal line, that strength through your arms. Front of your hip bone is pointing down and back on that left leg. Breathe in, and as you exhale, shift forward, three-legged plank. Pause and hold. Find your breathing. And then it's your choice on your vinyasa. You can go right to down dog. You can follow me to exhale to chaturanga. Tops of the feet to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale back to down dog. Find your breath, friends. Hold that down dog. Again, feel the strength as you push into the arms, tone your biceps in towards your center line. So we're going to take that sequence breath to movement, where an inhale brings us to one pose, and exhale to another. Have fun with it and take your time with your breathing. So we take that inhale to our downward facing dog. On your exhale, bend your knees. Look between the hands, step or float, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen through the spine. On your exhale, refold. Hold navel to spine at empty, and then reverse swan dive, inhaling arms wide and tall. And on this exhale, we'll cactus our arms open to a baby back bend, lifting through the chest. Inhale to reach your arms back up tall into mountain, and hands to your heart center on your exhale. Beautiful. So here we go. Inhale comes into chair pose. And on the exhale, vertical twisting chair to the right, lift the heels, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale back to chair, lowering your heels. Leave the right foot where it is and flying lunge on the exhale, left foot behind you, arms behind you. Your inhale is warrior two, left arm back, right arm forward, knife edge of the left foot to the ground, and exhale, extended side angle pose. On your inhale, reverse your warrior, so sweep the sky with the right arm. And as you exhale, come into that low lunge position, both hands frame the right foot. Inhale, big lift up into our one-legged mountain, arms and left knee. And as you exhale, back into Dakasana, airplane. Inhale is high crescent lunge. And then on that exhale, we'll bring the hands down to frame the right foot, low lunge. Inhale, right leg, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, shift forward to your plank. And you can do your vinyasa at your own pace, and you can customize it as you need to. We meet back in downward facing dog. Take a moment here to gather your breath around that down dog, friends. And then we will take our other side. Breathe in, downward facing dog. And on your exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, step or float up into that forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up, lengthen your spine, strengthen the shoulders. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive, inhale, arms wide and tall. On the exhale, cactus, arms open, baby back bend. Inhale, reach back up, gaze forward, mountain. And then hands into your heart center on your exhale. And here's the other side of that breath to movement. Inhale brings us to chair pose. On the exhale, vertical twisting chair to the left. So lift your heels, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, back to chair, drop your heels. As you exhale, left foot stays, flying lunge, right foot back, arms back. Inhale, warrior two, right arm back, left arm forward. And then exhale brings us to our extended side angle pose. Inhale, reverses your warrior. And as you exhale, cartwheel down to a low lunge position. Bring the gaze slightly up. Inhale, lifts you up into one-legged mountain, arms in right knee. Exhale, Dakasana airplane. Inhale, high crescent lunge, lift up through the arms. And then exhale, low lunge. Inhale, reach left leg up, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, shift forward to your plank and your choice on your vinyasa. So I'm going halfway down and then inhaling up dog. And find your breath on this. And just feel those layers of stress, those layers of anxiety just melting away here as your body just gets to sink down and rest into the floor. Beautiful, friends. Come up into a tabletop and then just drop one of your hips down to the ground, swing your legs forward. We're going to make our way onto our back. You're welcome to grab a drink of water if you'd like on your way down. And then as we get down onto our back, we're going to do some work for our core muscles. So first thing, just bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and just give yourself a little rock side to side, massaging out the hips, sacrum, low back. And then we'll reach the legs straight up in space. Take your hands to your hamstrings, lift your head and shoulders off the ground so your gaze is forward. And then we're going to go through three different kind of shapes. So this one is going to be with legs straight up. And we're going to do movement and then a hold and a movement. So the movement is going to be where we're reaching side to side. And then the hold is where arms are straight up. So here we go. On your mark, get set, and go for the side to side movement. You can always have a hand behind the use your inhales, use your exhales. Perfect. Back to your side to sides for 15 seconds. Last 5, 2, 1. Find Savasana. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Knees open wide. Relax your head. Relax your arms. If you want, close through your eyes, let the body rest, and find that full, deep diaphragm breath, that ujjayi breathing. Awesome, friends. The next one we're going to do is with the legs out on a diagonal away from the body. So you can feel the bottoms of the feet together. You can leave your head and shoulders down to the ground, or you can interlace the hands back behind the base of your skull. When you are ready for this one, we're going to begin in up and downs. So inhale, bring your knees in, legs straight up, and then exhale to lower down to a diagonal with low back rooted. You got it. Take it over at your own pace. In, up, and downs. Let's hold the legs out on the diagonal. Feel the low back rooting into the mat. Stay with your breath. You got this. And back and in up downs. Almost there. Last 10. 5. 2, 1. All right, take a full morning stretch. So reach the legs all the way out in front of you, arms all the way back behind you. Just give a nice roll out through your ankles and through your wrists. Give a little movement into your fingers, into your toes. Nice deep sigh out if you want. And then bring the knees back into your chest. We'll grab the hamstrings and just start a controlled rock back and forth the length of the spine. That will bring us all the way up to our sit bones, lowers us all the way back down to the base of the skull. Take that a couple more times. And then we're going to meet up on the sit bones, and this will bring us into boat pose Navasana. So just catch the weight up on your sit bones. Your hands can grab onto your hamstrings, and then lengthen up through your spine. Find your balance. Tone your shoulder blades in towards one another. Cross through your ankles, and then our movement piece are going to be twist rows. So as you're ready for it on your next exhale, start to twist open towards the sides of the room. Weaving your breath in however it makes the most sense to you. Perfect. Hold your boat pose. You can have your hands behind your legs or arms opened, knees bent or legs lengthened. Find that lift up through your chest. Hone your shoulder blades in and find your breathing. You're doing great. And back into our twist. Cross the ankles. Start to open to the sides of the room. Nice. Last couple here. Perfect. We're going to bring it forward to tabletop, and we'll start to stretch our spines out inside of cat and cow. So on the inhales, you can drop through the belly, lift up through the chest and tailbone. And on the exhale, you can round through the spine, lowering the head. At any Left hand can be to your hip, or extended up tall in space, or arching, reaching forward to the front of the room. Just find that lift through your inner side body. Stay with your breathing. Beautiful, friends. When you're ready, and then we're going to switch our sides out. So on the outside edge of the left foot, right foot stacks onto the left. You bring right hand to your hip, reach it up or arch it forwards. Left elbow directly underneath your shoulder, pressing to the ground as you lift away. So you're reaching up through the hips, getting into those side bodies, getting into those obliques. Stay with that breathing. Beautiful. Your next exhale, turn back onto your forearms. One at a time, press the hands to the mat, lifting up to the top of a plank. And on your exhale, shift back into your downward facing dog, letting the heels pull down towards the earth, spreading into palms, toning biceps in towards center line. On an inhale, lift the right leg up, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, open the hip and bend the knee, draping the toes down over to the side. Watch that we're not dipping into the left shoulder. Keep it nice and strong, on level with the right, and that your left heel is pointing back behind you in space. Awesome. On an exhale, we're going to step the right foot up to the outside of the right hand and create our runner's lunge pose. So you can either keep the back knee lifted in space or lower the back knee down to the ground. We want to create a little bit of space if the back knee is to the ground with between your left knee and your right foot. And then in runner's lunge, you can stay up on your hands if you want, or you can bring your forearms down to the ground, or if you are working with a block, you can bring those forearms down onto a block. We're creating this really nice stretch on the inside of the right leg. Gaze can, be down with crown of the head forward, or you might let the weight of the head just release a little bit deeper if you like. And then watch how you're placing your hips into this. We just want to keep a little tone around the hips inside of it so that we're not, caving into the left hip in this case, but we're feeling that we're placing the left hip into the pose. Kind of think about squaring your hips towards the ground and also squaring the hips towards the front of the room. Right knee above your right foot. Feel that right foot spread into the ground. And if you like to take cat grabs its tail, we can root the left hand down to the ground. You can use your fist, your fingers, or your palm. And then you start to lift that back left foot up in space. Right hand can reach for the inside of the foot. And then you're pulling forward. Gaze is twisting slightly over to the right. We're off of the kneecap. We're onto the soft tissue at the end of the thigh right here. And then just staying with that breathing. And on the exhale, we'll take a wide-legged squat horse. So your feet are going to point out at 45 degrees. You've got your knees stacked up right above your heels, and your sit bones are lowering back in space. Start to open your arms up wide and let your shoulder blades tone in. And if you'd like, you can lift the heels up off the ground so you're on the balls of your feet. Now, we're going to take this into eagle, and this is a little bit of a funky way to get into eagle. Stay with your breathing. You'll start to guide that right elbow out in front of you, and then wrap the left elbow underneath the right, looking for the palm, wrist, or the thumb to hook onto. At this point, if your right heel is lifted, drop your right heel. And then you're going to stand up on the right leg, draw your arms and your left knee up nice and tall. So it's kind of like a one-legged mountain with your arms at eagle, and then wrap your left thigh around your right thigh as you sit back into it. Spine up nice and tall. Feel those thighs toned in towards one another so you're pulling and pushing against your own arms and your own legs. And there are some similarities with chair. You're taking a squat in the right leg, but rather than your spine leaning forward, your spine is right up in space. Awesome. We're going to unwind to a one-legged mountain, bringing the arms and that left knee up nice and tall in space. And then on the exhale, just bring the left foot to the ground, hands to your heart. And you might be facing a little more over to the left side of your mat, so just orient yourself up at the top of your mat. I'm going to switch the sides of my mat out. From the top of your mat, inhale to reach your arms wide and tall. On the exhale, hinge out from your hips. Control your swan dive down into your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine. Plant the hands, step back to your plank, and then your choice to go to down dog or take a flow here. Inside of down dog, left leg lifts up on your inhale. And as you exhale, open the hip and bend the knee, drape the toes down over to the right. Stay strong in your shoulders, back right heel is pointing directly back behind you. Nice stretch for that left hip. And on your next exhale, we'll step the left foot to the outside of the left hand up at the top of the mat, runner's lunge. Right knee stays lifted, or you drop the right knee to the ground, maybe slide it back a little bit in space. Stay with your hands, or we can bring the forearms down to the ground, or if you're working with the block, you can bring your forearms down onto your block. Gaze is down, crown of the head is reaching forward. Find your breath. Think about stabilizing that left knee right above your left heel and placing your hips into the posture. So if we're doing that cat grabs its tail bind, you can press your right hand into the ground to your fist, palm, or fingers, and then we'll lift that left leg up in space, right leg up in space rather, and reach your left hand back for the inside of the right foot. And then your gaze is twisting over to the left here. You're rolling off of the kneecap onto the soft tissue at the end of the thigh, so hips are coming slightly forward to allow for that. Awesome, friends. If you're in that bind on an exhale, so for eagle on this side, left elbow swings out in front of you. Right elbow underneath the left for the palm, wrist, or the thumb. If your left heel is lifted, lower your left heel, and then we're going to stand up on the left leg, pushing off the right, bringing the arms and the right knee up to a one-legged mountain. And I'm kind of facing and lift up. And you can let the right foot flex to the side, behind the calf. Sit bones low, spine tall, elbows lifting away from your chest. Find your breathing. And you're kind of just looking past your arms in front of you here. Inhale, one-legged mountain, unwinding. And as you exhale, just bring the foot to the floor, hands to heart center. Orient yourself to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up into mountain. And on your exhale, hinge out from your hips and swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen the spine, tone shoulders. Plant the hands, move to your plank, and your choice, take a flow or go to down dog. Beautiful, friends. From this downward facing dog, just find that engagement, find that stretch, and on an exhale, we're going to release it down onto our knees. Drop one of your hips to the ground, bring your legs forward in space. Slide your hips up in space a little bit, plant your feet, reach your arms forward, and use your core strength to vertebrae by vertebrae slowly lower down into the mat until your head lands. And then reach your arms down along your sides and step your heels in until your fingers can touch your heels. Press your elbows down into the ground and then lift the hips up into bridge. Your feet are at hip bone distance. Your knees are above your heels. And you can step your shoulder blades a little closer in towards you. Head is released. And you're spread out into the feet, pushing down through triceps, staying with your breathing. If your eyes are open, this is one of the easiest places to see the rise and fall of your breath when you're doing this diaphragm ujjayi breathing. You can see your belly filling up on the inhale and emptying on the exhale. Slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, release down. Bring your knees into your chest, wrap your arms, and just take a little side-to-side rock. Take your left foot to the ground, and then slide your right ankle over the top of the left knee for reclined pigeon. You can leave the foot rooted, or to get deeper, interlace the hands around the shin or the hamstring on that left leg. Weight of the head stays relaxed as you bring the knee in towards you. We can add some flexion of your right toes back towards your shin, right knee gently flexing forward. And I'm adding a little side-to-side rock here. Beautiful breathing. And then release that left leg out in front of you. Pull the right knee up towards your right shoulder. And we'll move into a spinal twist. So you can just let the left hand draw your right knee down over to the left. Your hips roll onto the outside edge of the left hip. Then your right arm opens to the right and your gaze goes out across the fingertips. Right shoulder is pulling down towards the ground. And inside of this deep twist, you got gravity really working for you. A lot of your body's just laying down to the earth. You can feel a little bit of the pull into it, with that left hand drawing your knee down to the side, right shoulder pulling down. But really feel the massage of your breath inside of this twist. Nice. Roll onto your back. Bring your knees in. Just take a little rock, a little reset. And then bring your right foot to the ground. And we'll slide the left ankle over the top of that right knee, over the top of that thigh. Right foot stays rooted, or interlace your hands around the hamstring or shin of the right leg and draw the knee in towards your chest. Again, maybe add a little flexion, left toes back towards the shin, left knee gently flexing forward in space. You got it with that breathing. Right on, and take your right leg flat out in front of you, and then hug your left knee up to your left shoulder on the outside of the rib cage. From here, we'll take the other side of our spinal twist, our reclined spinal twist. So right hand draws your left knee down over to the side. You're gonna roll onto the outside edge of the hip. Reach your left arm out to the left. Let your left shoulder draw towards the earth. Gaze out across the fingertips. And allow your breath just to snake its way through your spine here. Once you're down to the end of the breath, we'll roll back onto the back. Draw your knees into your chest. And if you want, you can do a happy baby, peace sign fingers to your big toes, or hands to the edges of your feet, ankles, or thighs. And legs open wide, knees are bent, soles of the feet are shining up in space. And we're just pulling down on the frame and rocking it out, getting that low back massaged. This brings us into our final resting pose, our corpse pose, Savasana. So you can lengthen the legs out in front of you. You want to make yourself nice and comfortable. You can just release the arms at your sides, release the weight of the feet, let them just open up. Shavasana is also a time where you can let go of controlling the breath, and you can just let your body take back over on the breathing. And the idea is as you create this physical stillness, you're inviting your mind and you're inviting your emotions into this deeper place of peace. Con cara sa tenam carita purik niram ho nirave akamurin ajuni sebhang guru prasanje Adesech, Jungai Sech, Heavy Sech, Noniki Hosibi Sech. Ikun Kara Satinam, Karinta Puri, Nirabo Niraver, Akalamurit, Ajuni. Szép hangú prasadzie, járj szedsz, csungálj szedsz, heavy szedsz, non ki hosszí szedsz, non ki hosszí szedsz. So nice and slow, just bring some life back to your body. Start to move out through your fingers, through your toes. You could take your body into a full morning stretch if you like, rolling out your ankles and your wrists. Take the weight of your body and turn it onto its side into a fetal position, curling up. And just relax on your side and take a full, deep round of breath. And we'll meet up in a comfortable cross-legged position. So as you lift yourself up to your seat, find the front edge of your sit bones to root into. Bringing the full length of your spine into play. And then you can draw your hands into your heart center with your thumbs back against your knuckles. Feeling yourself relax to the floor, but feeling the length of your spine lifted up tall. Friends, it's been my pleasure to lead you through your practice today. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste.